Howdy, all you delicious people. I'm here today to view Keep Watching. So, I think this movie had a lot of potential because I was like, man, that ending though. So the plus and minus thing about this, first off, this movie, of course, is a found footage movie, and of course, there is some interesting camera angles that go into that, but then there's also certain times where I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? What's happening? Did that person just die? I'm confused. And so I honestly think at first they could have really gone on with the whole found footage angle, and they could have kept going back to that, but then they really could have just shot this like any normal film. And then I would have gone on and been like, okay, all right, like, definitely a way more like positive feeling than me just kind of feeling meh about this film, because obviously this movie does feel like The Collector, and when I have to go on and compare it to that, The Collector always wins. So we do have some interesting like villains in this story. Like, there are some interesting visuals here with the villains. And like, I think when we get to the way that this gets towards the end, it's like, oh wow, like, okay, that's like a cool idea. But I feel like this story needed more backstory to invest in the characters going into this. I feel that we also just we really needed either really good visuals or a backstory, and we have no story, and then not good enough camera angles at some point. So, like, this movie is to really just be deemed for me to state that this movie is interesting, but that usually falls in between okay and bad, which I would really want to be a lot more positive about this film, but uh, there is also quite a bit of times that this movie does have a realistic approach, but then again, that still has a positive and negative thing about it, because there's a lot of times where people are just kind of standing around in one room and kind of waiting things out. And I'm like, okay, let's go somewhere with this. Let's do something. Let's just not stand in this room because that just gets boring. So yeah, so there is just dead time in this film because it's a realistic approach. It's a realistic story, and like, it's trying to be like a Blair Witch kind of project, even though we of course obviously know all the people in the movie are to be like actors. And so yeah, so with that said, let's go on into just kind of teeing this up. So we are to present in the early part of the movie, because I can't say that they present any story, but they present in the film that we have these strings of murders that seem to be all going on around this town. And so the sheriff is kind of looking into it. So we have the creator, who is to be the guy like behind all the cameras, who is to pick his next candidate, pick his next like mission or whatever he's going to go on and do next. So come to find out, this guy ends up through Facebook finding a girl named Jamie. And so it's like, okay, all right. So these guys are looking into this family for quite a bit of time. And so come to find out, while this family is to have left for this vacation and come back, that's of course when these guys get into this guy's home and is to place in all of these cameras all over the place. The weird thing of it is that Adam is to have this like security thing put into this home, but I guess that isn't all that good now, is it? So we have at some point, while this family is to kind of be dealing with their own problems and having Matt drop by, which is really just Adam's brother. So we, of course, go on and have Matt, who ends up going outside, and that, of course, is when we get the game that starts. And so we have like Matt, who's kind of in his own room, and he ends up getting killed, and then all of a sudden we get the rest of the family that's like, okay, like where is that noise coming from? Like, this doesn't seem like any normal noise that I'm used to hearing. So the whole family is starting to realize that, oh my god, phones are missing. Oh my god, like somebody is just kind of walking around our house. What is going on? So we start to get the family that are all trying to be curious and try to figure out what is going on. And so by the time that we have certain portions of the family that are all trying to hide out in this one room, we then have them find within their hallway a bunch of balloons with this little camera that ends up stating, I see you. So, or we see you. So, we have Olivia, we have Jamie, and then we have DJ. And so all three of them are going to try as best as possible to try and escape or try to fight their way through these slasher people. It seems that there are two in the house, and then the crater that, of course, is outside to try and be a deterrent if anybody is to try and go on and try to escape. So I'm like, okay, so this is kind of like Strangers in a way, but something that feels like a lot more orchestrated, because even Jamie is to state at some points in this film that Jamie is to realize that they wanted them in a certain portion of the house. I'm like, here's the thing that they honestly could have gone on and done also. While these people were sticking into one part of the house, they could have gone on like the collector and like put just a load of traps all over the house. They could have put like bear traps or all kinds of things and made this movie even more interesting and even more like, wow, okay, like we're really like having these people think that they can just go through their house, and all of a sudden they don't even realize like how many problems await them while going through their house. Like everything is normal, everything is okay. And so that could go on and kind of spice up an otherwise boring film at certain points. So, but anyways, so with that said, yeah, I think that's all that I want to state for like the teeing up portion of this film. And so this movie is available on Tubi, Tubi. Justifyingly enough, there has this movie also available on a number of different apps, but you would have to like rent or buy it or whatever. If you do not have Tubi available wherever you are to have gone on and hopefully be able to get this, then go into any new releases, reviews that I've gone on and done, and you'll find a number of other apps that you can go on and download and be able to hopefully keep watching for absolutely free. So, with that said, let's go on into the double 5 time territory. I think it's about that time, of course, again, to go into spoiler time. Spoiler time, it's about that time you're going to spoil this movie. So, the setup of the beginning of this film is we have the creator that is going on and filming what is to be shown on the TV. Again, kind of giving us this like unique camera angle, even though it might look bad to some people, but still. So we have the creator that's going on and covering these news stories where we have this one town that is getting attacked, and we have certain people who were to have gone on and watched this live feed, like not knowing that it was real, or just they got caught up in it and they were really rooting for whoever these families were. But then afterwards, I guess they're like, oh my god, this is real? And so we have the sheriff that ends up coming on and it's like, well, hey, we're going to do the best we can to find out who these guys are. But the problem is that these things are just to be so random that we're not quite sure like how these people are finding their people. So the creator's like, oh, okay, well, I'll show you how I'm finding my people. And so the creator goes through a social media and obviously is a girl named Jamie on Facebook. And so Jamie seems to have a plethora of different photos, and so the creator is kind of copying these and putting them all on his computer. And so he's like, all right, like we're gonna have this be the next candidate. We're gonna have this be the next hunt. So we have Adam, Jamie, Olivia, DJ all coming back from seemingly this vacation, and come to find out Adam is to remarry to Olivia, and so obviously Olivia is to be the stepmom. So in the very beginning of this movie also we have Jamie who has seeked out therapy, and Jamie is talking about this dream that she is to have where her mother is to have this kind of blanket over her, and Jamie is realizing that her mother is getting eaten alive by all these bugs and insects and so on and so forth. And Jamie is having this dream, and the therapist is like, well, like do you find this scary? Like, do you think that like you should embrace this and so on? And so like Jamie is trying to work through this and just be like, okay, well, no. So, or she is kind of stating what she feels, but she doesn't really have much to say. So we then go on back into this house. So by the time they come back from vacation or wherever they've gone to, uh, Jamie ends up going into her room and realizing that the wallpaper has been changed in her room. And so Jamie goes on to talk to her parents and is like, well, hey, like, my wallpaper has changed. Why? And so Adam and Olivia are just stating to Jamie, it's like, well, in all honesty, that wallpaper was kind of weird. And Jamie's like, well, yeah, but like, that was my wallpaper. And they're like, yeah, but it was just really weird. And so Jamie's a little frustrated that her privacy was violated, and so Adam goes on to be calling some guy that I guess is some kind of loan shark. And Adam is stating to this guy, it's like, well, hey, the check's in the mail. Like, believe me, I'm going to send you this money. So, but Adam goes on to talk to Jamie, and Adam ends up stating to Jamie, it's like, well, like, yeah, like, I get that you're having a lot of problems and also going on and having like your privacy violated. Like, I get it. And so Adam is kind of hoping that Jamie's really going to say something, and she doesn't. And so Adam is just like, well, like I tried. So Adam is saying goodnight to Jamie, and Jamie repeats the like, hey, good night. And so Adam's like, okay, well, good. At least she said something to me. Like, at least like she wasn't going to give me the silent treatment and whatever. So we have DJ that goes on and is sending a text to his friend stating that his stepmom is hot. Cause yeah, like I guess DJ weirdly just has this like fascination with his stepmom because technically it's a stepmom, but still like it's your family, but okay. So we have DJ that ends up going outside, and come to find out, we have Matt that ends up arriving, who is actually DJ's uncle. So Matt arrives, and we then have Matt go on and state to Adam and Olivia, it's like, well, hey, like my girlfriend threw me out, so I'm probably going to be here for a couple of days. And so Adam and Olivia are just like, well, like, better just be here for 3 days, and that's it. So we have Adam and Olivia, they're going to bed, and so Olivia is adjusting herself. She's adjusting her chest before she goes into bed. And I was like, okay, all right, like, what are you trying to get some more cleavage? I don't know. So Olivia goes on and is sleeping with Adam, and so Adam goes on and says to Olivia, it's like, well, hey, like, at least you got through like the easy, or at least you didn't have to deal with the like the hard part of being a dad, because if anything, like you didn't have to deal with the peeing or the pooping or the puking, so like if anything, like you bypassed all of the like the zombie era times. So we have Jamie that is to go on and try to call her boyfriend. And Jamie's like, well, hey, like, God, what is the guy's name? Josh. Jamie's to mention that she had, like, texted Josh like 1,000 times. So Jamie finally gets Josh on the computer, on the laptop. So Jamie is talking to Josh and saying, it's like, well, hey, like, Josh, do you think that we're going to be together, like, past high school, past senior year? And Josh is like, well, of course we are, babe. Like, what are you talking about? And so Jamie's like, I don't know. And so Josh is like, you know what, you're kind of freaking me out. And, like, I don't know what you're really saying here. And Jamie's like, oh, I'm just talking. Because come to find out, Jamie might think that she is to be pregnant. So Jamie is going on and doing the test in the bathroom, and she's kind of waiting a couple minutes for this to like show that like she might be pregnant or she might not be pregnant. I think the test ends up saying plus minus, so does that mean no? I'm so confused. So Jamie is going into the bathroom, and she ends up hearing somebody walk by. And so Jamie's like, well, hey, it's occupied, like somebody's in here. So come to find out, the person that ends up walking by is to be one of the masked men. Because how this thing all starts off is Matt is going on and kind of passing around his weed to people. Matt is to go on and give Jamie some weed and tell her, like, yeah, it's really good stuff. Like, because Matt supposedly has glaucoma, so he's giving Jamie weed, and then he gives Adam some weed, and Adam's like, yeah, this feels just like high school all over again. And so, like, right before they all go to bed. So Matt goes outside, and all of a sudden, while Matt is outside, we have him see this drone. And Matt's like, okay, why is there a drone here? Like, does DJ have a drone and I'm not aware of it? Like, is somebody messing with me? What's going on here? So All of a sudden, there is from behind a guy or a person with this axe that stabs into Matt, and now Matt's dead. We have to draw the conclusion that this was to be the character referred to as the Wasp, who is to be like the black masked character. So we have Matt who is dead. He's outside, dead. So we now start to have all of these like these mini gates and all of these like things to close off all these windows and all these doors being put together. We also, before that had happened, we saw Jamie going on and trying to get into this tub, and so one of the masked men were trying to film Jamie in this tub, and at some point it seems that Jamie was kind of looking outside to see if there was somebody there, and then all of a sudden Olivia comes to the bathroom, and Jamie's like, "Hey, like I'm in here," and then Olivia's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize." So, but moving on. So Matt's now dead, and somebody's walking around in the house, and so after they are to start to hear the clangings of these gates being assembled throughout the whole entire house, we have Jamie that wakes up, and then Adam that is starting to hear sounds, and so like we have everybody that just starts to all get up, and we have DJ who has, I think, his like his headset on, and so he's kind of walking around. So we have Adam that is to kind of walk downstairs thinking that maybe Matt like can't sleep or something. Maybe he's starting to sleepwalk. So Adam goes down there to see what's what. And so Adam's like, okay, like, I don't know what's going on. Olivia, call the cops. So Olivia goes on to call the cops, and there's no phone there. So Olivia ends up telling Adam, yeah, there's no phones. And they're like, what the heck is going on? So Adam goes on and tells Jamie, DJ, and Olivia to like go in a room and just kind of like protect yourselves. Like, I'm just going to kind of lurk around. So Adam goes on to, of course, find this flashlight that he's like, okay, like, I guess I'm going to use this to kind of get around my house because, bizarrely, when Adam is trying to put on the lights don't work. So Adam starts lurking around his own house, and then there's this one spot where Adam is to push this curtain and is to have this Polaroid camera take this picture, and then when Adam is to kind of uh, like try to clear up the picture, we have Adam and a villain behind him, and so when Adam looks behind him, the guy's gone. So we have Adam who continues to look through his house like, okay, like where was that guy? What's going on here? I'm disoriented. So all of a sudden we have Adam that finds his attacker, and his attacker ends up taking off his mask to toss his mask onto Adam and suffocates him. Kind of like pulls the mask over Adam's face and just starts suffocating him and killing him off. So now Adam's dead. And so once the guy kills Adam, he puts the mask back on and he goes on to go after other people. So I'm like, okay, all right. Like, that's an interesting idea. So now Jamie, DJ, and Olivia are all in this room, and they end up putting this dresser in front of it. And we have certain people that try to bang into the door, and that doesn't quite work. So Olivia, DJ, and Jamie have this TV in this room, and the TV ends up showing footage of Jamie who is talking about Olivia or her family behind their back. And Olivia's like, "Oh my God, Jamie, is this something that your friends are pulling? Like, are you pulling some prank on us?" And Jamie's like, "No, like, this isn't what I'm doing at all." So now we just have like, okay, like somebody's been watching us for a really long time. This is weird. So DJ ends up finding this this taser. So he ends up pressing the taser and the taser works. So like okay, I guess we're gonna use this taser now for whatever reason. And the taser has like a camera inside of it. So they're like, oh, okay, all right. So the TV ends up stating like we're watching entertain us at some point when they kind of see one of these TVs. So they have Olivia just decide it's like, okay, like let's get out of this room, like let's start looking around and hopefully we can just get out of here. So when they start to go through the hallway that just has a lot of doors, and you would think like, yeah, I don't know about this, like I think somebody's going to jump out or whatever and scare the crap out of them. But so Olivia, DJ, and Jamie make their way down this hallway, and we then have this thing with a massive number of balloons, like kind of what we see here. But there's to be this kind of small camera that says that we see you. So Olivia is just kind of poking at this little camera. It's like, okay, whatever this is. So they continue to go on to make their way through this house. So the strategy ends up becoming to just try and like avoid as best they can. And so they start making it through the house, and so they end up going to the basement. And we have Olivia that sees this one window, and so Olivia's like, well, okay, I'm going to try to break through this window so that way I can get out of here. So hopefully I can find somebody that can help both Jamie and DJ, but I'm going to leave by myself. So we have Jamie that realizes that they were left to go to the basement on purpose. Like they were meant to come here. And so Olivia goes through this window and makes her way outside. And we then have Olivia find Matt dead outside. So we also had some footage of Josh. Josh ended up coming to Jamie's home. And when Josh came to Jamie's home, there was to be this kind of axe with this like this kind of bow on top of it. So really showcasing that this guy should have grabbed this axe and he didn't. So because really Josh didn't know any better. So Josh goes on to hear certain sounds that are coming from these like cellar doors. And so Josh is trying to open the cellar door, but instead he is met by this killer that goes on to attack Josh, and it ends up being the same the terror guy who ends up putting his mask over this guy's face and then starts to waterboard him by taking this hose and starts spraying him with water to the point of Josh drowning and dying. So when Olivia gets out to find that this gate is closed and there's a key in it, we all of a sudden find out that Matt is not dead after all, that he all of a sudden surprises Olivia And so Matt is telling her, like, hurry up, get out of here. And when the killer ends up coming by, we have Matt that is telling Olivia, run, run. So we then go on and have to re-kill Matt to make sure that he is dead. And so now Olivia had told both Jamie and both DJ that she's going to go and get help. So Olivia runs off, and we have the killer that is with this drone, and they're just kind of like, okay, like, she'll be fine, like, someone else will get her. So we have Olivia that is to find this kind of like UPS looking truck. So Olivia has to try to flag this truck down, and the guy's like, okay, like, just get in the back. And so Olivia gets in the back and finds out that she is being grabbed and she is being killed. I'm assuming by the creator. So now we have Jamie and we have DJ, and they're obviously just like, dude, we're never getting out of here. Like, we're gonna die here. That's all that's really meant for us. So finally, both Jamie and both DJ realize that, are like, you know what, we should get out of the basement. Like, we should try to just kind of look throughout the house. And Jamie ends up grabbing this knife. And oh, we also have a moment where Jamie and DJ end up getting attacked by the Wasp. So Jamie ends up trying to defend against the Wasp. She ends up like tasering her multiple times, and we of course have DJ who comes from behind and stabs this girl with this like stick, this like flimsy looking stick. And while the Wasp is now like off to the side and she's bleeding out, Jamie is now asking this girl, it's like, why are you doing this? Like, why? And so the girl does not have an answer. The girl is just willing to just bleed out. So more than likely, we are just to probably realize that this girl had been tortured to insanity, and maybe she's just become this zombie that all she can do is just think to kill, and that's it. Because we do get a backstory for this character, technically, but like, we don't get it until the end. So I'll explain that towards the ending. So we have Jamie and DJ that grab this knife, and they're like, okay, like, let's go after whoever's left. So we just killed one of them, so like, there should be only a small number left here. So Jamie and DJ are to have possibly a plan for the other killer. So Jamie is whispering sweet nothings to DJ and coming up with some plan. So Jamie and DJ start to go throughout the house, and come to find out they go into this one room where we find this kind of blanket or this shroud over Olivia, because of course Olivia is dead. So Jamie had gone on and like been recorded of her therapy session, and so the therapy session is playing on in the background, and everything that that Jamie is saying, the guys are trying to figure out some way to visually mimic what, of course, Olivia is stating here. So we have these kind of visual bugs that are placed over Olivia's body, and so Jamie ends up taking and looking at who this could be, and of course this is Olivia, and she's dead. So, and then we also have Jamie, who is looking at certain videos of both Adam and her other mother, who ends up to actually be Betty. So we have Jamie that realizes, oh my god, like this is my nightmare. Like they're trying to do this nightmare. So we all of a sudden have Jamie and DJ turn around, and we have them be presented by the killer, the bad guy. So what they end up doing is they decide to pour either gasoline or some kind of flammable liquid all over the killer. And now we have our characters that are trying to desperately go on and light this guy up to kill him. But the only problem is, like, the lighter won't light right away. So we have Jamie who ends up getting the lighter last, and like, so she's lighting this up, and then the killer does light up. And so now we have DJ and we have Jamie, like, having a house that's burning down. You would think that maybe the whole idea would have been to, like, burn down their house and then just be in the basement, and then, like, maybe the whole house wouldn't completely have, like, burnt down or whatever. They could have found a way out or something. But I don't know, like, maybe it wouldn't have been the best thing to, like, be, like, right in a burning house, but still, you probably could have killed somebody off in the process. But anyways, so Jamie and DJ are now, like, taking this, like, coat rack and banging it against this gate that is keeping them from going outside, and they break the gate. And so now Jamie and DJ are running outside, and so we of course end up having Jamie and DJ seeing this one truck that is to be this kind of UPS like delivery kind of truck. It's not UPS exactly, but it's similar. So Jamie and DJ open up this door to this truck, and come to find out there's no one in it. So Jamie and DJ just go further into the truck, and all of a sudden DJ ends up getting locked into this cage, and now the collector ends up coming into the truck and is telling Jamie that she's going to go on and need to play the next stage of this game so that way people can keep watching. And come to find out, the girl that Jamie and DJ had killed, the Wasp, whoever the Wasp was, come to find out the Wasp was actually a just normal woman who was forced into having to play this game like Jamie will be in the future. And I was like, oh my god, that is actually a really cool idea. Like, to have forced this person who is to have this kind of dark past to need to go on and kill people, so that way hopefully her and her brother will go on to be free after this, which probably won't be the case. So really, that's just how the movie, like, ends. That's the whole kind of in a way, that's the whole movie for you. So with that said, I think I'm just gonna go on and get out of here, because yeah, like, it's a very simple movie. It's a very simple way to explain things. And so yeah, so it feels like there is an escape that goes on by the end of this film, but then we realize that there never is going to be an escape. That reasonably, it's just like, well, yeah, whoever is to be left out of this, like, they're just going to go on and need to play the next game and the next game and the next game. And so we really probably have to understand that probably the terror guy more than likely could have gone on, and there could have been a whole story developed with him to state, like, this guy, like, wasn't to be a bad guy. He was to just be, like, suckered in like so many other people, and then just gone to be this killer. And so there's a number of possibilities that they can kind of go with this film, but this movie is to be what it is, so I think I'm just going to go on and get out of here so that way we can go on and put another review out there. So let me know in the comments below how you felt about Keep Watching, whether you went on and were to have liked this movie or not liked this movie, or just was like, ooh, wow, like, yeah, this seems pretty interesting. Thank God that you were to be the person who have found this movie, because some people need to go on and find something unique to watch, and Keep Watching might just be that. So with that said, bye everybody. Bye everybody.